What's up, guys? Welcome back to another week of Power Hour. You already know who I am, hopefully. If not, my name's Reese from House of Reps and my co host Joe. We will have a new guest today, Gwen Geckos. We're going to check her out and get to know them, and hope you guys join us. So take the next minute to like, follow, share, get ready, and come hang out and talk geckos for the next hour or so.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Reese introduced me already. My name is Joe. Tonight on Power Hour, we have our guest Jen and her mom, Kathy. And welcome in.
There's another one, but she's hiding somewhere.
Yeah, she's being very shy.
That's right. Maybe she'll get bored of being shy and pop on for a second.
Yeah.
How are you all doing tonight?
We're doing great. Hey, you're shaking the table.
Reese, how you doing,
just
buddy?
hanging out.
Same, hanging out, hatching geckos. I finally got approved. It's been like months, but I finally got approved on Palm Street today to start doing live auctions on there. So that's cool.
Okay. Let's do a thing where we talk about what that is exactly. I know it's an auction thing, but I've never.
Oh yeah, we talked about it on another episode with Seth. It's an app. Have you guys heard of it? Because it's big in the crested world. So I'm sure you heard of it. No?
Plants supposed to be on Palm Street.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So you got them on Palm Street.
Variegated Monstera and such like that. Yeah, it's fun. Haven't bought any animals off of Palm Street yet, and probably won't sell them on there because I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, just something new.
Yeah.
So what about you, man? What you been doing?
Oh, honestly, I've spent the last week and a half, except for the last 2 days, working. I picked up some work and just been trying to keep busy. Didn't realize how long I hadn't worked until I got there. But yeah, other than that, man, I started hatching babies this week. You got 2 stragglers a couple weeks ago, but then this week they're popping like crazy. So trying to keep up with photos and sharing. All right. Well, I want to get into it with Jen. I'm going to have trouble tonight not calling you Gwen. So let's start with that.
Yeah, what's up?
What is the Gwen in Gwen Geckos? What is that?
The Gwen, it was a nickname of mine. Oh. Kind of like alter ego OC kind of thing from 20 years ago. And
okay.
I don't know. I just like the sound of it. I used to call her Gwennifer, and that
Gwennifer.
So is it like
you cannot?
Have you seen fried?
I'm old without.
Yeah, have you seen fried green tomatoes?
Not in a long time.
Okay, I was gonna say, is it like Tawanda? Is it like Tawanda as a nickname, or is it more like just a high school nickname?
Just a high school nickname. Yeah, it was really just between me and like my best friend.
That's cool. So Gwen Geckos comes from that. I was wondering. So if I accidentally call you Gwen, it's not such a bad thing.
Point when I thought maybe I would. Yeah, I mean, and it's okay. I go by it online, I guess. So it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, Jen and Gwen rhymes.
Yeah, they're pretty close. There was one point where I thought about changing it to Jen Gecko, and then I was like, that sounds.
Gecko.
I don't like that. Gecko.
She's breeding.
That's going to happen a lot.
When your mom looks at you like that,
She's breeding geckos over there. That's awesome.
Yeah, geckos. There you go. That should be the name.
They're a crossbreed. Cresteds, leopards.
There you go.
So
So
yeah, what,
And then we back
go
across
ahead, Joe.
gargoyles.
yeah, so 2019, it looks like I was doing a little research, looking into things, obviously
Yeah.
preparing. 2019 is when you got your start. I wanted to know if you could walk us through a little bit of your beginning and what brought you to your hobby, and then why you chose the 3 species you have.
Yeah. So I think I first, well, I've always had like a love of animals forever. I don't think we ever didn't have pets. And I think it was probably about 16 years ago when I was pregnant with my son, when I really started getting into leopard geckos. And I bought, I think, like 6 of them. But then I had my son and decided there's no way in hell I could do both of those things at that time.
Okay.
So I stepped away, and then about 6 years ago or so, realized that geckos still existed, and I still really liked them. And now that I have a paycheck and I'm an adult, I can do what I want. So
Yeah.
I started falling down the reptile rabbit hole again.
I got you.
I guess the snake hole. I don't know. What would you call it?
I have no idea. Don't look at me.
Toad
I'd say
hole. There you go.
reptile. Oh,
Kathy, looking over at you, what? How did she drag you into this? Then, if it was one of her passions, you're obviously a part of things.
yeah. I just really like animals too, and I think they're very, very curious and really awesome to watch, and they're just joyful. You know, I can't help but not like them.
They're always smiling.
Yeah, they always have a big smile on their face.
Yeah, cats aren't geckos.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. At least y'all can agree with it. Is it a multi-gen home? I'm assuming.
Yes. Yeah.
That's cool. There's a lot of those.
Yeah.
We share everything.
So what all do you keep besides leopards?
So we have mostly leopards at this point. Gargoyle geckos and crested geckos. We have only one cattail right now. Fat tails is what I really wanted to start with. I kind of, when I got back into it, and I kind of fell in love with the ghost. But then at the same time, it was coming out that the females were infertile, so I kind of waited. But and I collected a few fat tails and a few leopards, but just kind of sat on it for a couple of years. And then the gargoyles, I'd always liked gargoyles from way back in the day before they even had any color on them at all. I remember thinking the stripes were the coolest things ever. And then so when I was going down into the toad hole again, I found gargoyles again, and I saw what they looked like 6 years ago. And, even compared to now, it's just like, holy crap. They don't look anything like they used to. And that just kind of like super piqued my interest. And so, I don't know. I guess one species wasn't enough. Yeah.
Well, they all have their individual life.
That's true. They all have their own pros and cons for sure. Yeah.
No, they do. I've had all
personalities. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we do have a couple rescue ball pythons and a couple hognose snakes because they're just the cutest snakes in the world.
So we got snakes too. Okay, nice.
Oh, yeah. Just a few. We got one tortoise and one bearded dragon as well.
And it sound like my house.
And a musky turtle.
I did hear you say you love
basically
AFTs. I don't know that I caught that you keep any. Do you have any right now?
I just have one, and he hates me.
Hannibal?
No, Hannibal doesn't hate me. Hannibal just likes to run away. No, Hiccup. Although he probably should have been named Hannibal, but I took him. He had retained some sperm plugs, so I had to take him to the vet. And ever since, they had to actually like sedate him to get him out. And ever since then, he's hated my guts. So I just have one at the moment. I
Is
had
that
2 smaller females. I wanted to do like a trio type of thing, but they I think they maxed out around like 40 grams, and he was like 97. So, and an asshole. So, I didn't want to risk it.
what is this again? A fat tail?
Yeah, African fat tail.
Wow,
I didn't know they get that
Yeah,
big.
he hates me.
that's big.
Yeah, he's huge. He is probably my 3rd biggest gecko right now. Well, no, 4th. Because of also Meatball. I have a Lychee too.
Yeah.
Her name's Meatball.
The list continues.
She's
Yeah,
gorgeous.
man, we're getting more than we bargained
Keep
for here.
sneaking them in there. We also got a llama. There's 4 chickens.
Oh, we
Um,
also have
I know you do
No
have chickens.
llamas.
I know you do have chickens, right?
Yeah, we do have
man.
chickens.
Mhm.
we have 3 cats and a dog too.
I mean, I tried alpacas and I hated them, but
Wow, they kept spitting on you.
they're just rude, and the way they look at you, they're cute as hell, but
Yeah.
I don't trust them.
Well, I did have a question for you, and you actually kind of almost touched on it for a second. But so when you saw gargoyles a long time ago versus now, they have the Deadpool stuff with the reds, all the nice colors.
Yeah.
Why do you think? To me, why do you think they're not so popular as cresteds? Considering they have the same care, come from the same place, a lot of the same similarities, but just slightly different look. And they're not as colorful or have as many morphs, but they're still pretty dope. So I was just curious, why do you think they're not as popular as cresteds?
That's a really good question, and I think maybe word just hasn't gotten around as much as with cresteds, because I feel like cresteds really people started breeding them towards morphs a lot sooner than the gargoyles, so maybe that has something to do with it.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know, really. You would think they'd be more popular. I have a feeling that they will continue to get more popular though, as some of the more crazy, colorful ones keep coming out.
Yeah, I mean they just keep getting redder and redder.
I've
And
noticed
Yeah,
that.
they're gonna
super
be like
cool, like
solid
with
red.
little
at some
horns and
point.
stuff too, and they're red, like
Yeah,
almost look like little devil geckos, So
yes, they
Yeah,
do.
they are really neat looking.
that would be like popular, but I just don't see them flying off the shelf
Yeah.
like that. But I think they're pretty cool. I've had one, and he lasted about a year and a half, and then one day it just was gone. RIP, my boy. But
Oh
never
man,
got one after that. I think he choked on substrate or something because he was just on the ground, stuff in his mouth, and the night before was up in the little top. So I was like, I don't know what happened, but
yeah.
he was cool. But I never got another one. But yeah, I was just curious your opinion on that. So yeah. Are you gonna take it to that level? Are you gonna make them popular?
Let's see. Mostly, I just like to do this as a hobby.
True.
I don't want to get
Yeah.
too over my head.
No, I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
But who
Joe.
knows? Who knows?
What? Speaking of that, there's 3 species that I'm mostly thinking about here, and it is the gargoyles. But then you have the leopard geckos, and there's another one,
The crested geckos.
the crested geckos.
Yeah.
You had mentioned the showcasing the difference between breeding the 3 species that you work with.
Yeah.
What are some of the differences?
So crested and gargoyles are almost the same. I incubate them the same. I even cycle them the same. Everybody's in the same room. So I mean, the leopard geckos in the rack, they have the warm end, and we'll cycle everybody through the winter. The whole house comes down a couple degrees. So I try to keep things consistent, but temperature is definitely different. Incubation time is different. I find crested geckos hatch a little bit sooner than the gargoyles, but not always. And then, of course, because we're incubating, leopard gecko eggs at a higher temperature, they hatch faster too. And then they lay them a lot faster. I have girls that lay like every 2 weeks. Got 1 or 2 that lays every 3 weeks. The gargoyles and the cresteds lay maybe once a month. But all of them will lay multiple clutches. Usually with my girls, we'll get like between 8 and 10 clutches for everybody. I do with crested geckos, for example. Sometimes you only have to pair them once for an entire season, which is really great. Sometimes you have to, put the male back in there, for example, like once a month with gargoyles and leopard geckos. But cresteds, they can retain sperm like for an entire season. I've heard like of at least a couple cases where a female will retain sperm into another season as well for crested geckos. So sometimes they can surprise you with their fertility. That might be another reason why they're more popular than gargoyles, is they're just a whole lot easier to breed. The gargoyles, I know a lot of people say the gargoyles are a little more carnivorous than the cresteds, but in my experience, it's been the exact opposite. My cresties will go like cuckoo bananas for any live food, and then I've got some gargoyles that won't touch anything live. They're not interested. And then of course, with the leopard geckos, you're feeding them nothing but live food. Although I do, have what is it? The Hikari Leopard gel or whatever it's called. It's really interesting gel food that I've used before.
Does that work?
In emergency situations?
I've seen it,
For
but
one
I've never
AFT,
tried it.
For one AFT, it worked. But that it's
But not for the Leos, right?
Hmm.
I've seen videos where they're taking.
We haven't tried a whole lot, but I keep it around. Huh?
I've seen videos where Leos like will eat stuff like that, but I've never actually tried it. I don't think they. I don't know. Rather just give them the bugs. They're not finding gel out there in the wild.
Yeah, I mean it's basically just like ground up silkworms anyway. I think.
Oh, okay.
But
I didn't even know what it was. Yeah, I was just like just mush. Give them this mush.
Yeah, it's mush. It's silkworm mush. And then I guess with the differences too, you're incubating them differently. I've got a 2 incubators for my leopard geckos. I've got one at like 89, 90, and then the other one is at like 81 or so.
Difference between male and female.
You hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you hope for.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work out that way.
True.
And then gargoyles and cresteds, I don't think you can temperature sex them, but I do find that I generally hatch out more girls, I guess. We do hatch them at room temperature. Mm-hmm. So maybe there's a little bit maybe, but yeah.
It's definitely the best at room temperature because I tried to incubate when I first started and I was having so many hatching problems like deformities or eggs going bad and I just couldn't get it right. I was like, what am I doing wrong? I have the temperature set. And then somebody was like, dude, just leave them in the room. And I did that one season, hatched 120 something of them, almost 100% hatch rate on all my eggs. I was like, that's it? Just let them sit on the counter? That's crazy.
Yeah.
So definitely incubation wise is super different. But is it, so you said the gargoyles take a little longer though than everybody else naturally?
Generally, I think maybe it's just because they're bigger, but or at least the ones I have, I've been trying to collect ones that are at least like 50 grams fully grown. I don't know. I just like the really big gargoyles. And I don't know. They hatch like probably for me around like 60 or 70 days. And then my cresteds will hatch around 50 or 60 days. But the eggs are quite a bit smaller. There's a cat getting me right now. We have cats too.
There's another species of animal you have in that house. That's great.
Yes.
So.
This is Gigi, and she was a bottle baby.
Yeah.
And
nice.
Still a baby.
Yeah, my daughter has a bottle baby. Somebody found like a mom that had dehydrated in Phoenix and died with her litter, and one of them survived. My daughter was able to save it, so that's cool. But yeah, that's she was a bottle baby, and she's all grown up now. But we did have a question earlier on from Peter. He was asking what projects do y'all work with, which leads into one I want to work with, projects, but morphs. What morphs are you guys working with? Are any of them projects?
Yeah.
So we have, when I guess we've only been breeding leopard geckos for 3 years. This is our 3rd year breeding them.
Nice.
But I had them for several years before that. I thought I wanted to do sun glows, but then I don't know, just seeing all the stuff and all the new stuff. So we kind of have a little bit of everything. But what I'm going for, I guess, in my projects, there's one, I don't really have like names for them. One, I guess, is just calling it like the lavender tangerine project or something. And I remember there was a particular gecko from Geckos, etc., that Steve Sykes had for a while, and I don't know if he still works with them or not, but they were lavender red stripes, and they just looked incredible to me because they were tangerine and lavender, and I thought that would be really cool if I could get both those colors to stay on a leopard gecko, and not have like the lavender turn to green or anything like that. So yeah, so we have that kind of tangerine lavender thing going. It's got a lot of clown in it, as well as some blood, and there's a couple other Sunfire and Electric, I think, are in there, as well as like lavender stripe. And let me see. And then we have our bandits that we just got this past year, and we just hatched our first leopard geckos. 2 beautiful little bandits. And with that project, I have I don't know, I just really always liked, the look of like the cinnamon line trimpers and all of that. And I think I'm gonna try to do something with maybe like Desert Bold and see
that's
what
been
that might
pretty popular.
Yeah, it looks very interesting, and I like that it came from that particular project. So we'll see where that goes. I've always loved the bandits though, and the band across the nose,
That's
and
funny
their
actually,
attitude, I guess.
from the
It's also
cinnamons and
fun.
stuff with Heidi,
Yeah.
Heidi talked you up and wanted to see you on the show. So she better watch tonight's episode. You better get at her. But yeah, so she was excited to see you on here and probably talk about that. So that's pretty funny you brought that up. That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's
someone else who was singing your praises today was Brett at Bayside Geckos. He was saying nice things about you, and he actually is watching.
I bought a lot of geckos from him.
Oh, that's why. There we go.
That explains that. Okay, I knew he wasn't a good guy.
Usually
I
doesn't
knew
say
it.
nice
But I
things.
am. Yeah, but
Not about you guys,
out some
about
nice
just people. But yeah.
Yep.
So
But,
you got a lot of projects over there, huh? So we got a lavender tangerine.
Yeah, we do. We've also
I wanted to ask about that real quickly.
White and yellows. Yeah.
You said there's Sunfire in it. So is that a bell line?
Yes.
Nice. Okay.
So there's Belle in that group too.
Heck yeah.
I kind of like really
nice line.
Yeah, I got one of the clown het bells from B&M. I've actually got 2 from that clown, the Bell Clown project that Brett's working on over there.
From 2 T's, you got.
And so I incorporated those. Huh?
Said you got 2 from 2 T's.
Yeah,
his name's Brett.
From 2 T's.
His name's Brett
exactly.
with 2 T's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I bought a lot of geckos from him too, from both Bretts.
So you got some
same here.
Yeah, there's Belle in that group too. But yeah, and then we have the white and yellow stuff that we're working with. It's got a lot of like white and yellow red stripe. There's rainbow stripe, extreme and marine in there. Nice. So just some really cool like neon colors is kind of what we're going for. Adding lavender to everything because I just really like it. And
how are you going about that? Adding lavender to everything?
I'm just looking for stuff that's lavender and then growing it out. And if it still has that lavender, like 1 or 2 years later, then I keep it. Or like I'll choose like for my white and yellow tangerine male for next year, I chose him because he's got spots on his back that are lavender, for example. Like it's just a lack of the tangerine showing the purple like from below. And kind of like with purple heads and stuff. So yeah, it's just selective breeding, really.
Okay.
And then yeah, a couple of my well, at least well, we'll find out. But two of my lavenders are supposed to be non-het. But yeah.
And you're testing them this season?
I'm testing one of them for Belle, but
Belle?
yeah, we'll see. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we have some snows too. But I don't know where that particular group is going just yet.
Yeah. What kind of
I don't
snows
know.
do you work with? Mac and Gem?
Mostly Mac. We have one Gem Snow.
Yeah, everybody loves a Mac
That
and
I'm
Gem.
thinking about. Yeah. I don't have any Tug Snows, but I really like the look of the Super Snows. And then I don't know, with the Gem Snows, they just, when you mix them with like lavender stuff, they look really cool.
That's
And,
where I was going with that. Adding the
yeah.
snow really helps with the lavender, depending what you're crossing it with.
Mhm.
What I noticed, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your favorite project you're working on?
Yes.
Project
It's
is
really
yes.
hard to say. It's like for each year, I guess it depends on what the goals are. This year is probably the lavender tangerine one, because I'm breeding one of my favorite girls. And she has a lot of lavender and a lot of tangerine on her. And I paired her to a purple head. So I'm kind of hoping to increase that tangerine without losing the purple. So I'm really excited about that. She's the one who I just posted a picture of the egg that was like I don't know, it was humongous. I don't know how she
They just
pushed that
posted
thing
it.
out.
You can pull it up, Joe, I think, right?
Yeah.
On Instagram.
I can. Let's go ahead and move over screens, and here we go.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
the
one right
pictures
there in
are
the
crappy
middle.
because I took them inside. Yeah.
Where am I
That's her
headed?
first egg ever.
Oh, right here. This one?
Yeah, right there. Yep.
Okay.
That's her.
Nice.
That thing is gigantic. I didn't weight it, but it's really around 4 grams.
Nah, I had one last year. It was like 6 grams. I was like, what? And the baby hatched
Jeez.
out 5 grams. I was like, no way, dude.
Oh,
No.
wow.
Yeah, it was
That's
pretty
awesome.
big. I got some big ones right now. I probably should weigh two. And it's always weird. It's always one egg. Like if they didn't lay two, they just laid one egg, and then that one egg
Like one
grows
giant
really,
one.
really big. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird.
Yeah, she needed a few days of a nice hot sauna and a little extra calcium, and she's able to get it out. But
How long have you been
she
working
got the
with white
spot
and yellow?
treatment. Huh?
How long have you been working with white and
Did it?
yellow?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
we paired them the first. Yeah,
Do you?
maybe no. Actually, it was the first year that we bred geckos. We bred. We only did 2 pairings that year, and one was the tangerine clown bell lavender cross, and then another one was a white yellow red stripe, and then a white yellow red stripe shrimper. So since then, basically. So yeah, this would be our 3rd year.
I don't know how she keeps it all straight.
Yeah.
I do, so
You're
she
the
doesn't.
maintenance, and she's the information.
Right?
That's actually a good question. What do you use to keep everything, all your records clean? Like, do you use an app or are you pen and paper? What do you got over there?
I have a combination of things. I have my lovely calendar with all my notes written in it.
So imagine
There's
sticky
another
notes
cat.
everywhere.
Yeah, I have a calendar on the wall also. I write notes in my phone. I don't use Husbandry Pro, although I'm thinking about it. I am kind of like trying out the Morph Market like breeder stuff that they have on there, and it's all right.
Yeah, I've never used it.
I also use Excel.
Excel.
You just named all the things I use. That's funny. all the same stuff.
Yeah, I like.
Similarly, I use Husbandry Pro. I love that app, and then I like the option of having it also on my computer. But I have a calendar. I'm sitting here staring at it, and you're gonna laugh at
I
this,
have
but
to have it.
yeah, the calendar displays when I've cleaned, and then whether it's my bigs or what I call my smalls, right? So the grow outs and then your breeders.
Yeah.
And so literally I just draw like an arrow up on the day that I cleaned all the bigs, and the same thing. And if I can't visually see that, I will forget when the last time I did my chores was. And so I'll just do them again for
Yeah,
no
like
reason. So
I've got it posted everywhere, right? And
yep.
noted everywhere. And she'll be like, which ones are we doing today? And I'll be like, I
I
think we're doing the
literally
baby.
bought dry erase boards that you peel the back and stick it anywhere you want on a wall so I can write on it and not forget,
I
old things like that. So
That's funny you
Well,
say that because I just got
We've done
a
that.
dry erase.
I was gonna say, so how do you guys, operate between the three of you? Because Joe is me is just one person, so it's not hard to backtrack or do things. We keep it organized, but with three people, sometimes things get jumbled. Already cleaned that. Oh, I didn't know.
Oh,
Things like that. So do you guys run into that a lot,
oh,
or is it pretty organized?
no.
I always defer to Jen. I
Yeah.
wait to hear what we're doing.
So you
She's
just
just like, whatever you want to
point
do,
and
we
tell
can
me.
do. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. And then Sadie mostly just plays with them and names them at this point.
So she's the real
She's not a fan of cleaning.
yeah, she's the real cat.
Yes, she's a cat. She's basically a cat.
yeah.
That's funny.
She does what she wants.
Mom, is there any animals you don't want to clean? Like maybe the snakes or something? Or is you just hands on everything?
You don't do the snakes.
I don't do the snakes usually.
Yeah, I
Tell
knew
them
that
why.
was coming.
Why?
Tell them why you don't do the snakes. Your snake story from Panama.
Oh. My parents were workers in the U.S. government, and they went down to Panama in the Canal Zone. And long story short, one of the houses we lived in had louvers, and
Like you don't have windows you can close.
yeah,
They're just slats.
there's
Wow.
slats and louvers.
Yeah.
And
It's like that in Hawaii too.
Yeah, I'm
I
from
was
Florida.
about
We had
9 years
windows like
old.
that.
Yeah.
I was about 6, and I was in the patio with my dad, and all of a sudden he goes, "Don't move, don't move." I went, "Huh?"
Mm-hmm.
He had a machete, and all of a sudden he goes right by my head, and apparently a fertilized had slithered up into the louvers.
It was
like right by my head.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So I kind of shied away from snakes after that.
Yeah, I just
Scared
shied
me.
away from them, and that didn't even happen to me. So
I got more scared of the machete part. I was just like, I'm shy from machetes now, not the snake. Got
Yep.
people
Papa
swinging
didn't fuck
swords
around.
at you.
Yeah. But
that's crazy.
yeah, that was a long time ago, and I've kind of gotten over that. And I will hold the snakes now. And
Oh, that's
Yes.
good.
I mean,
the hog noses are very friendly. They're real
Yes.
sweet.
She
Yeah,
won't
that's
work with
cute.
that because he's evil. And then the African fat tail.
He bit
Yeah.
me.
No, that was one time.
He bit me. No.
I know it's even bigger.
Yeah.
One time. Nick's bit you.
Yeah.
They've all been gargoyles though that have bitten her.
Nah.
They don't like
that
me.
gross.
I must taste good.
Like
You're,
bugs.
you're well seasoned. Yeah. I was asking about white and yellow earlier because I was trying to see, do you have trouble identifying white and yellow when you hatch them? Because a lot of people seem to have trouble, even people 10 years in the game sometimes. So, how do you
I
work? How do you
did.
feel about it?
I think like with the first year, I think all of them were white and yellow. And then last year there were a few that were, they were really hard to tell. I think white and yellow kind of like expresses not necessarily on like a spectrum, but intensity maybe, and so you can have
No, for
animals
sure.
that are show a lot and animals that don't show a lot. The ones that I particularly have trouble with or had
What's up,
trouble with were
Mimi?
white and yellow trimpers, like the tangerine white and yellow trimpers.
Not
Unless
now.
like Max
No, I'm done.
is in there, it can be a little hard.
Okay, let me finish.
Yeah. No, we're listening. He's talking to his kid.
Oh yeah, sorry,
Oh,
I
okay.
have a kid in here with me. So I was, and also, is white and yellow your favorite morph? Is that something that like that's the one you like the most, or do you have one?
It's one of my favorite.
I don't think I have a favorite. Yeah, I don't have a single favorite. But they are in the top, definitely. White and
So
yellow's in the
what
top.
is your top? What's your top 3
Oh man.
right now? Top 3
Clown line tangerines.
clowns. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clowns, white and yellows. I love purple heads.
That's 3. That's 3. You're done. All right.
Okay.
And then next week.
And then
Okay,
all the
so-
other ones too.
Yeah.
And then every single other one also. So you mentioned somebody or something named Tree Trunks. Who is that? And I think you wanted to show him on screen. Who is that?
Yeah, Tree Trunks.
He's our dwarf baby.
He is a dwarf gargoyle gecko, and he is. Oh man, I don't have his birthday on his tub anymore. He's going to be 2 years old this year, but this is him.
Can you see him?
Yeah.
You might not be able to see, but there he is. Tiny little dude.
It's a dinky doodle. He looks like he's got a normal head, but his
Just this
body's
tiny little
scrunched in.
But that's
Oh
it.
wow!
Yeah, he's smushed
Yeah.
for sure.
So
Oh,
now we know
Okay.
why. No, just kidding.
Yeah, we know why now. No, I'm just kidding.
So does he eat good and he's
just went
thriving?
flat.
Other than that,
He does eat. He eats great.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, he eats fantastic. He doesn't get around very well. He doesn't have the best mobility in like his back legs or at all anymore. He used to be able to get around a lot better. But he can crawl.
Okay.
And so we keep him in a 6-quart tub. He's only 9.34 grams.
Wow.
And this summer, yeah. So I think May or June he'll be 2 years old.
Now,
Does
I
his
don't.
toe pads still work?
Say
Yeah,
again?
that's a good one.
Do his toe pads still work? Can you like stick and stuff like that, or he has a hard time
gargoyles
sticking?
don't- He does have a little bit of a hard time sticking, but gargoyles use more like a combination of the sticky and their claws as well. But he sticks real great with his claws.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. I thought it was the same as cresteds because you watch cresteds.
No,
it folds backwards before and they have this little hook. But I never see that little hook do anything.
Aren't like that.
Okay.
Gargoyle toes are. I don't think I know. Maybe not cresteds. I know lychees can retract their claws, and they have the really big toe pads. But the gargoyles, they're quite a bit smaller, and since they're so a lot of times chunky, they don't stick to like glass like some of the other geckos do, like cresteds and lychees will. Okay. Certainly not when they get bigger.
Yeah. So you said he's almost 2. I don't know anything about gargoyle geckos. I was wondering, is that an adult, or when do they become fully matured?
Can be. I think a lot of people wait till 2 years. I'll grow my females out to 3 years because they're still growing. I know a lot of people will breed at like 18 months even. But for me, at least 2 years. This guy obviously.
They're kind of like cresteds in that regard. Then cresteds take a little bit longer to grow out.
They take a longer time.
Yeah, about 3 years to fully mature. Yeah, so okay, that's interesting.
Yes.
I didn't know that about gargoyles. I never bred them. I've done cresteds, but I've never bred gargs.
Yeah,
very similar to cresteds. Bigger, but very similar.
Yeah.
He's okay.
That's cool. It's good enough.
Okay. He told me.
He only fell like 2 inches. So God, I feel like
When,
but he's looking at you like
Yeah.
a
It's
mountain.
not me.
You reminded me of a previous episode where we had a Mariah on from Holland, and her AFT fell out of his tank behind her, and it was a long drop, and she got him back up there and sat back down, and then we were talking to her, and she had this smirk on her face. It made us laugh so much because she's like, "I'm embarrassed," like out of nowhere. Did you see that episode? It had Seth
I honestly
from
I
Huff's
don't think
Herbs, and
I can so relate to that right now.
yeah. If you do get a
I'll have
chance,
to
it's
go
one of
watch
our earlier
it
episodes.
now.
You'll have to go take a look. But those
I
are
will too.
the fun ones. I in looking you up and stuff and getting to know like what you're working with, I noticed that you have a website. I was wondering if
I
you have that
do.
to drive traffic or if it's more of an educational thing. What would you like people
You
to
know,
notice about it, if anything?
well, if you go to it now, it'll say it's a private site because I'm working on it and I haven't updated it in a
Yeah.
little bit. But mostly it just kind of showcases, what we're working on and the breeders that we're working with.
Okay.
I'd like to make it educational as well. I have, a couple care guides I've been working on, but haven't posted them yet because I take forever to do a lot of things that
Yeah.
it is what it is. But yeah, there's just a lot going on. But yeah, the website's just there to, kind of just showcase the animals that we work with.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you about
Or will be.
you brought up earlier that you mostly do this for a hobby. So obviously this is fun.
Mhm.
It's a side thing. Um,
Yeah.
are you just gonna stay like that? You ever have aspirations to grow maybe a little bit bigger, or you just want to stay small, have fun, and
I mean that would be
what's your
really
goal?
cool. I mean, that would be awesome to be able to do something like this full time. Um, I think I just don't know how realistic it would be just
Mm-hmm.
because of uh I mean, I commute like 2 hours every day, to work. And I don't know if I could do it now, but maybe eventually. That would be really cool.
Where do
I
you
would
live
love
at
to do this
again?
full in the middle of nowhere. I live out in the Texas Hill Country, probably about an hour southwest of Austin.
So you're close to
Maybe
Austin.
20 minutes. Huh?
So you're close to Austin,
Say,
Texas.
yeah, close to Austin. I'm kind of halfway between Austin and San Antonio.
San Antonio. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say, after the show, get with me later. I do franchise for reptile education shows, and we have
Cool.
Houston and Dallas cities. We have franchises there. So I was wondering whichever one you were closer to, we could possibly, maybe fix that, and you could do geckos full time and education and reptiles. Since you have other reptiles, that's how I am. I have other reptiles as pets, and I have those for my education
Yeah.
shows and stuff like that, and then I just breed the Leo. So it keeps me busy full time, so it's fun. Get to hang out with kids and teach them, and do all that stuff. So you have a good personality
Amen.
for it. You might even be able to start it on your own. So even if you never know.
It
Good
would be
try.
cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Good to know.
Yeah. Exciting.
That is
I
pretty
do.
cool.
I work in public health right now, so things are
So you're
tricky.
busy.
Yeah, busy.
Yeah, so you're
We're
extremely busy at work.
Yeah.
extremely busy.
That's cool.
So
But
with you being
yeah,
so busy, are you gonna be able to ever do expos?
I hope so.
You hope so.
But I probably have to get everybody on board to help me do it because
As she looks at me,
I
yes, I'm
know,
like,
I know.
hi.
Yeah.
That's
And then
funny.
she knows that I'm with her
yeah,
100%.
and I would probably also talk my boyfriend into doing it too, who is
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
chat. I see you in.
Is that
You
Andrew?
you are near
Yeah,
enough to two major cities, so I mean, I bet
yeah.
there would be some pretty
We
big expos there.
There are. There's the Herps Expo
Okay.
that they do in Austin and San Antonio all the time. I think there's one out in Seguin.
Like
There's
Show
one in
Me,
Leander
Into
too.
Animation, Repticon. Like what are the shows?
Yeah.
All the above.
Well, the only ones I really remember is Hertz. I think there's a real big one up in Dallas, but that's like 5.5 hours from where
Oh,
I
okay.
live. Um, maybe I'm thinking the NARBC or something like that. But
Okay.
yeah, just a couple small shows around here. It's all I've been to, really.
Yeah.
But
So why haven't
They're fun
you
nonetheless.
done it yet? Like what's stopping you from making the leap of just booking your first show and doing it? Is it, you know, not enough
it's
supplies,
kind of
inventory,
just
or nerves?
I I mean all of the things. Like I don't know.
Not
I
even
don't know. I don't
babies.
even know where I would start doing a show.
Okay.
Like I think I was watching one of y'all's podcasts the other days, and y'all mentioned how places charge for electricity, and I was like, what the hell? Um,
Yeah, but
I don't know. That
I don't get it. So
it blew
you
my
don't have
mind
to
away. I
have
was
it.
like, why? Huh?
You know,
I don't get it. So you don't
yeah,
have to
Yeah,
have that. Yeah.
I do. I do
I,
and I don't. Like I do
yeah.
because capitalism and whatnot, but at the same time, it's not something I would have ever considered. So, um, I don't know. I wouldn't know where to start, I guess.
Well,
Like
I was gonna give
Joe.
you a way to start, but I think Joe has one too. So go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I just did.
Okay.
So the first thing I would do is grab a tablecloth. You have to decide whether or not, what color you want to do, if you're going to do one with or without your logo on it. Um, with your logo, and you kind of kill two birds with one stone, but you need some sort of a backdrop or a banner, like a side banner for the table that says, "Hey, this
Yeah.
is who I am." So you could start by starting to get the process rolling of getting those things created. They do take time to get to you, and so once they're here, I sat on mine for months. I had them in, and there they were. I even went and had a tablecloth made with a QR code on it, which was kind of cool. Um, so I would start by getting those kind of things
Here,
ready, but get business cards,
here's a
stickers, and then
yeah.
yeah, you have a go ahead.
Got that.
Where do you get like banners and tablecloths from?
I'll share a
Literally
And like, who
website
would
with
you
you.
recommend
online,
for?
anywhere.
Yeah,
I got
Say that
mine
again?
from Amazon. It was
Anywhere?
like
yeah.
$30 from
I
Amazon.
got
The black
everything
one.
from a place that Brett from Bayside Geckos recommended me, and I can shoot that over to you.
Okay,
It's really
cool.
Yeah, it takes a couple weeks.
Yeah,
They worked with me
yeah.
on my logo, and the really neat thing is that I ended up with a vector file. So if you
Yep.
ever take your logo somewhere and you want to expand on it, costs hundreds of dollars to most places unless you know a person that does it. But they were
Fiverr.
like, yeah, because we're already doing this for you, we'll charge you $40, and they made a really nice
Yeah.
vector file for me. I get to use everywhere now. So he gave me the
Okay.
vector
And that
file
has
with
like
the whole logo, the one with my character on it, because I have one of those character only, and he gave me one with the backdrop without a character on it as well. And so that's kind of cool. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
but
This
business
could bring
cards, things to
to
hand out to people for free, those are good places to start. And then I'm sure Reese has a couple to take it from there.
uh actually I was gonna make it a lot more simpler for you just to get your feet wet. Before you invest in all that stuff. Why don't you find a expo close to you, figure out what Leo breeders are going to that expo, and ask them if you can put in on the table, and then just vend with somebody. So now you're working with somebody who's doing it, like maybe Seth. You can reach out to Seth. I vended with him in Atlanta, helped him out, so you can help him or help the vendor get some experience. See how the fast busy is, because it's fast. Like people are coming at you, talking to you. You got 10 people here waiting to talk to you. This kid wants to hold a gecko. These people are trying to ask you
Yeah.
questions. What was the price for this? It gets crazy. You know what I mean? And of course you want to talk and hang out with people, but it gets a little much. So I would say maybe find
yeah,
somebody you can vend with for a show or two, get a little experience without having to do all that first. See if it's something you really, really like. Because some people
not have
they've
to
done
like
it and
fully
then they're like,
commit.
I'm done. I don't like talking to these people. I don't want them touching my geckos.
Yeah,
I don't got time for it. And so they had a whole different experience. So I would say, see how you like
yeah,
it and see if somebody will help you out. You can, throw them $50, whatever, hop on the table, and just sell a couple geckos and see how it goes.
That's
I would
good.
try it that way.
yeah.
And then as you do that, invest in those other things: business cards, stickers, banners, all that good stuff as
Yes.
Good
well.
advice.
Yeah.
Displays, deli
Yeah.
cups, all that
Yep.
good stuff. Yeah, hand sanitizer, paper towel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where do you get like the displays that
I
you
literally,
see at
I
reptiles?
literally Googled it. I got mine from Top Tier Cages. They're in North Carolina, and
Okay.
they ship it to you. You put it together yourself. But there's all types of stuff. I mean, was
Yep.
it Animal Plastics has some too? I think, right? And you can do
Yep.
pay plan with them, like PayPal paying for. There's all types of ways, like Afterpay with other companies too. Like there's all types of ways to go about it.
See, me, I went and got several sheets of plastics. They're the PVC plastic from, I think it's pronounced Piedmont Plastics. They're all over the country. You can usually find a place everywhere. And then when you buy the sheets, you can give them measurements to cut. And then when I got them home, they're not that expensive if you buy the plastics. I just bought a 6-inch hole saw and started drilling my own holes, and I'm making my own display cases.
There
Uh,
you go.
I will need to utilize their electricity next time because I want to put a light under it, but that's
Sounds
another
like
option.
sounds
Like
like
Reese said,
Andrew's
they're
gonna
everywhere.
have some work to do. Andrew, it's gonna be drilling some holes here later.
I was just volunteering Andrew, unfortunately, but he looks like he can build stuff. So,
Looks like you can build stuff. You'll be all right. Got a strong forearm there.
yeah, no, actually, that is good advice, Reese. Jumping on the table with somebody else and offering to help.
Yeah, it helped me. I did that with Greg from Blizzy Bold Leos. He was vending Repticon. He let me hop on the table, so I got to be at a big show and get my feet wet. I sold 3 geckos that weekend and saw all the things I needed. From talking to other vendors, looking at their setups and vending with
Yeah.
somebody as well.
So,
But he was also new too, so it was still cool. Like he was a little bit more ahead of me for sure, but we're both new to it, so it was a good experience. Yeah, but it
So,
definitely
cool.
the transition for
what
sure.
I
kind
like
of
that.
commitment can we get out of you right now that you're going to get started? It's so funny. You're like, none.
We're doing
None
Expo
at
this
all.
year.
I don't do good when I'm put on the spot.
Yeah.
I I usually just say, yeah, all the things.
Yeah, expos, tables.
Yes.
I'll be
Do
there.
you
Yes.
swear or do you swear?
I'll-
Like, which one do we got? Like,
I both pinky swear. Yeah,
I'm like,
We'll
yeah, I like.
definitely work on it.
Yeah, we'll work on it. I'll probably reach out and
yeah.
ask
yeah. Reach
somebody if
out.
I
I
can
mean,
maybe
Heidi
jump
does
on their table
expos
or
all the
something.
time.
Yeah, I don't think I have enough babies really to have like my own
Yeah.
table.
Nah, see, that's an
Certainly not.
excuse. That's an excuse to stop. If you have one baby on the table, that's something to sell.
Yeah.
So I only
This is
had, I
fine.
think 12. I think I had
Okay.
12 my first show to sell. So I didn't have
Yeah.
too many either. It as long as you
That's
have enough
good.
to make up for the table cost or for the day, you can kind of
Yeah.
even out.
That's
It's
true.
it's it's
That's
not that
true.
bad. You're getting experience. You're getting to meet new people. You're exposing yourself and your brand more. You're talking with
Yeah.
people. You're doing the thing you like. So it's an even trade off. Even if you got 5, price
Yeah.
them at 200 a piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Show
That's
Yeah,
me
you
true.
might
shows are
for
like $65 a
right
table, which is
now.
not bad.
Yeah,
Oh
shows are
yeah, that's
usually
not bad.
cheaper tables anyway, and they have 1-day shows and 2-day shows. So
Hmm.
yeah, it could just be a one day show in and out,
I love
65
me a
bucks a
1-day
table.
show. I really do. I love me a 1-day show.
How
I
much
get
do
to
they
do
charge for electricity? Like that really boggles
Well,
my
a couple
mind.
bucks.
I
20
see,
bucks.
I see.
20
It
bucks.
depends on
Yeah.
the show. Some shows it's like 40 extra bucks. Some shows it's like maybe 70 extra bucks. It just depends on how big the show is and the venue itself. Like I said, I don't use it. I ended
Interesting.
up getting these lights that you just charge at home, and they're supposed to have like 8 hours
Yeah.
battery life. They're like little
Saw
desk,
those.
and so I
Fun.
just pull that
Yeah.
out and turn the brightness up and have that over the display case, and it's the same thing. So I have a light for mine, but it just
Sounds
depends on your
awesome.
setup. You don't like need the electricity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I
Well,
just keep bringing it up because it's just weird to
yeah,
me.
no, I
But
feel you.
anyway. Okay.
I wanted to
So,
ask you what were your inspirations? Like who inspires you in your projects and stuff, like in this hobby
oh gosh.
things like that.
I mean, probably Ron Tremper going way back. He was probably the first name I ever knew when it came to leopard geckos. It might be because he lives, just down the road in Bernie over here.
Does he?
But
That's cool.
yeah, he lives well. I don't know exactly where his facility is, but he lives
Yeah.
pretty close.
The Gecko Ranch is cool.
Yeah, and so yeah, I don't know. I think Ron Tremper definitely is where it started. Right now, man, it's hard to say. There's so many really, really good breeders that have a lot of really good stuff.
Well, who helped you in your journey the most? Like, don't pick who you think is the best. Like, who actually helped you learn? Like, when you watched them, or you read their stuff, or you asked them questions. Like, who helped you in that way, or helped guide you? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I kind of learned a lot of it on my own,
no,
to
that's
be
good.
honest.
I'm the same way.
I have reached out. Yeah, I have reached out to people for help before, like Gabe over at Reps in Texas. I remember talking about him with white and yellows a while back, and then I've talked to Brett with Bayside a lot. Yeah, but for the most part, just doing.
You know where this is going, right?
Where is
Where
this
you
going?
this is leading into your Mount Rushmore of.
Yep.
We got 4 minutes left up to the hour, and we're gonna close out with your Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
So, who are your top 4?
4.
Yep.
Putting me on the spot again. It's not fair. That have helped me?
No, you look up to
you just look up
breeders. The most, to you, these are the best.
They're influential to you.
Oh,
You
okay.
look up to them. You like their style. You like what they produce. Whatever. Whatever the reasoning is.
That's really hard. I like so much stuff. Gecko boa, obviously.
Okay.
I really like. I mean, I think the cipher stuff's really cool. I think. I'm gonna.
It's like, come on, you can do this.
I know I can do this. I'm gonna say Ron Tremper too, even though he's not in it as much anymore. He was a really big inspiration, especially like 16 years ago when I was first learning about breeding and all of that.
Yeah. So we got
it was
Ron
also, I think, right when Enigma was coming out too.
Thanks. So you were around for Enigma stuff. Nice.
Yeah, I actually, my first reptile ever bought online was an Enigma. It was a Tremper albino Enigma, and she looked like she had like an alien on her head, and that's why I really liked her. But she never had like any issues like some of the other ones, but I never bred her. And I have to think of 2 more, don't I?
Yep. You got Ron.
Maybe Chris at Suburban Geckos.
Okay.
And maybe Seth also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seth from. Okay, nice. He made the cut.
There you go. Seth made the cut.
I don't think we've heard Seth yet on a Mount Rushmore, so that's dope.
Yeah.
Shout out to Seth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
usually the other 3 that you said.
Really informational.
Yeah, he's very informational.
It doesn't sound like more. Yeah, he's very informational.
Very informational, for sure. That is one word to sum him up, for sure. Informational.
Yeah.
But it's good information.
Yeah, no, you gotta have a tape recorder because you're gonna have to go back and listen to some stuff. If Seth is talking, don't interrupt. He's got a lot. He's got a lot of information, and if you sidetrack him, you're not going to get everything he could have given you. So I am not talking shit. That is real. If he's talking, don't interrupt until he stops to breathe. Like, just let him go.
For a second, yeah.
Well, all right, Jen and Kathy, I wanted to take a second to say thank you for agreeing to come on, and it was a pleasure hosting Gwen Geckos, obviously. And
never met Gwen, but yeah.
Are we going to get Sadie on for 2 seconds to wave, or are we not going to? regardless.
I doubt it.
I don't. She left like 30
Okay.
minutes ago.
We had
She
some
lost
fun
interest.
talking with you. A couple of laughs, and I want to say thank you to everybody in the comments who hung out tonight and helped us showcase Gwen Geckos. If you are not
Thank
already
you.
following them on Instagram or Morph Market, this is a good time to remember to go do so now.
Yep.
Follow us, and other than that, everybody have a wonderful Friday night.
Thank you guys.
Bye, Jan.
Hey.
Bye, Kathy.
Bye, Joe.